So I understand that I am the last speaker of the evening, and my talk is going to end with a blessing, and I would like to encourage you to come as close to you as you can to the stage. I'm not allowed to be very close to you, because if you do, then you don't see me. So, and I'm going to be talking about looking through the eyes of love and living with less judgment. The world now is too dangerous and too beautiful for anything but love. When my daughter Laura was born and I held my first child in my hands, something happened. I felt a love that was so strong I knew it would never end. No matter what she did, I couldn't stop loving her, and believe me, she did a lot. But her misdeeds and her childhood cruelties never defined her. I could only look at her through the eyes of love as this sparkling, beautiful human capable of and deserving of love. And I wonder, why I don't look at myself that way? And why we don't look at other people that way? I know for me, it's the mistakes that stick. I'll have a conversation with a group of people, and I'll say 10 amazing, funny things and one stupid thing. And I will leave that conversation and say to myself, I can't believe I said that. I am so stupid. And in that moment, I am no longer Brian Baker, amazing human. I am he who says stupid things. And we do it with strangers like that. Someone cuts us off in traffic, and we don't think, oh, I wish they made a different driving choice. We think, what an idiot. We look at them as something less than human, and we do it with groups of people, millions of people, people that might support a different political candidate or have support a social view that's different than ours. And it's not just that we disagree, but we disdain. And even more so when we are in groups of like-minded friends, smugly congratulating ourselves that we're not like them. You could make the case that this is the fatal flaw in the human condition. The way that we judge ourselves and one another based on the worst we have done rather than the best we could be. I believe that that is the point of the story of Adam and Eve. This creation myth that's at the foundation of 3 of the world's major religions was written 2,500 years ago to answer one question. Why are we such a mess? And in this story, God creates the heavens and the earth, and God says, this is awesome. This is very good. And God turns to the humans and says, enjoy. And everything will be okay as long as you don't do one thing. Don't eat the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Don't judge what I have created and called good. Don't judge it as evil. And of course, they eat the fruit. And the next thing they do is they look at their own pure, unclothed human form, and they go like this. They judge themselves as evil. I'm so ugly. I'm so fat. I'm disgusting. And they hide in the bushes. And then God comes walking through the garden, and the Adam and Eve, instead of running out and greeting God and holding hands and chatting as they walk through the garden, they hide in the bushes. And God says, where are you? And they say, we can't come out. We're naked. And God's heart breaks. Who told you were naked? Adam blames Eve. Eve blames the serpent. Cain kills Abel. And here we are, looking at one another with disdain and disgust. We can hardly talk to each other. But it doesn't have to be this way. That story was written to hold up a mirror to show us what we are doing wrong so that we can change. And I would like to propose 3 spiritual practices that can help us be less judgy, to help us look at ourselves and one another and other people through the eyes of love. The first is to pay attention to your thoughts. You know, our inner critic, our judgy brain kicks in and we don't even notice it. So pay attention. Be mindful of when you start cutting yourself down or diminishing other people, any thinking that leads to division. Did you know that the root word for the word devil means to divide? The devil is in the business of dividing. And I believe any thinking, any speaking that divides people one from another, any media that we consume that divides people is of the devil. And it's not healthy. And if we could be mindful of it and think of it and realize it's not healthy, we can begin to allow it to diminish. The second spiritual practice I want to propose is that we assume that every human on the face of the earth is doing the best that they can. We have no idea what people are struggling with. Everybody is paralyzed by fear and insecurity and judgment. And we don't know the ways that they have been abused or are being abused or the addictions they're struggling with. We don't know how they were raised. It's a miracle we are as good as we are to one another, given our backstories and what we're struggling with. I have a friend whose Granny Barb used to say, everybody's doing the best they can, and sometimes their best is pretty shitty. Sometimes my best is pretty shitty. But it's the best I can do. And third is to cultivate a curiosity about other people, particularly people that you disagree with or don't like. Cultivate a curiosity about who they really are behind your prejudice or your judgment. The people are too fascinating to write off so quickly. I was given an opportunity to practice this third spiritual discipline a year ago when my daughter Laura invited me to come to Burning Man. My daughter, who is this she was a 22-year-old dreadlock tattooed, I'm more of a Buddhist, who invited her West Point graduate, Army veteran, Episcopal Priest father to come to Burning Man with her. And at Burning Man, I encountered lots of people that I might have, been judgy about, but this place encouraged me to be better than that. And I want to tell you one story, and that is, prior to coming to Burning Man, I received a message from a woman in my congregation, and she said, I go to Burning Man every year, and I stay at a camp called Poly Paradise, and I hope that we can connect. Now, my daughter had chose for us to stay at Camp Perky Parts, which was a mannequin-themed camp. So I was thinking, Poly Paradise, maybe that's a polyester-themed camp, and they wear clothes from the 70s like I wore in high school. And it was Thursday night, the night of my camp's Thong Thursday party, when this woman from my church and I linked up, and she came up to me, and the first thing that she said was, I am so sorry I haven't been to church lately. But I'm staying at a camp called Poly Paradise. And that's a camp for people in polyamorous relationships. And while my husband lives in Sacramento, my boyfriend lives in San Francisco. And on weekends, I'm with my boyfriend in San Francisco, which is why I haven't been able to go to church lately. So the first thing that pops in my mind is, so the thing you're confessing is you haven't been to church lately. And your justification is you're with your boyfriend and not your husband. But the second thing that popped in my mind was how cool that you're telling me this. And that you trust me to look at you through the eyes of love and not run away screaming. And she and I have been to lunch several times since then, and I learned from her the courage that it took for her to tell me her truth. And she has been, we have become much better friends now that I know this about her than if she had kept it secret. The world now is too dangerous and too beautiful for anything but love. May your eyes be so blessed you see God in everyone, your ears so you hear the cry of the poor. May your lips be so blessed you speak nothing but the truth in love, and your hands so that everything you touch is a sacrament. May your feet be so blessed you run to those who need you. And may your heart be so opened, so set on fire, that your love changes everything. Amen.
Thank you so much.